Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well. This is part one of our new Cardboard Animals 3D project. So this is finally a project that we get to do cardboard with that you've been saving up. And this animals project, I'm going to be looking for you guys to create two animals this week, two or more if you wish. In the document, I also give you some templates at the bottom, six to be exact. And each animal is a little bit different. And I'm going to go through those quickly because some of them are going to be very difficult and some of them are easy. You can choose to use my templates if you want. You can modify my templates or you can create your own. But I want to talk to you about, if you're going to be putting these together, how that it needs to be put together properly. All right? So first things first, what are we going to need? Well, you're going to need a pencil or a Sharpie or something to be able to trace out the templates if you get them printed out, or if you just draw them directly on the cardboard. You want to use these so that you can see. You're going to need a good pair of scissors. All right, I wouldn't use the kid scissors if you can avoid it, just because it's a hard time to cut through some cardboard. But any scissors would do. Just make sure that you're safe with them. Then you're also going to need your cardboard. Now, I've got white paneled cardboard that I had laying around my art classroom. This will be good to be able to see, but if you have pieces of cardboard, that's fine. If you don't have like one gigantic large sheet, that's okay. You can just use multiple pieces, like if you wanted to do the body right here and the legs on the other section, that's fine. So you're going to need some cardboard as well. I'm going to put that over to the side. And then lastly, the templates. The templates, if you have a printer, you may print them out. You're probably going to want the printer, though, when you print it out, to make sure that you set it to the largest settings so that the entire page can print as far as it can to the edges of the paper. For example, I'm going to show you the rabbit one that I worked on, and here's the rabbit template right here. I printed this one out. I printed really close to the edges as much as I could before parts started to not print out. So this is what I use right here. Now, if you can't print out, what you can do is you can just look up on your computer screen, keep that image up on your screen, and draw this as best as you can. All right, printer would be very, very helpful for this, but you can just draw what you can. And as you can see by this template right here, this is the rabbit's body from the side, if you're looking at it sideways. All right, this right here is its front legs. The arms, front arms or legs, and that would be notched right in here. That's what that little cutout means. This would be notched right there. And then the rabbit's ears, because it's got a very unique look to its ears, and there's the view of its head. So this animal right here, the rabbit, this is the view from the side. This view right here is the view from the front, looking at it this way, and also the rabbit's head and ears view from the front, and they would be notched right there. Okay, so if you have the printout, you can use this and you can cut out all these pieces. All right, you can use those pieces that you cut out, and that is what I did with mine. I simply cut them out with a pair of scissors, and I've got them right here. I'll move this piece of paper out of the way first. All right, there's the rabbit's body, there's the rabbit's head, there is the rabbit's front legs. And as you can see, it would be notched like this when you're all done. I'll show you mine when I'm done with the video here. So these are the pieces that you're gonna need. And the rabbit's a pretty easy one because it's only 3 parts. You can see that the other animals either have 4 or even 5 parts to them. So this one's kind of easy. The parts are bigger and you can do that. Now, when you cut these out, this is as big as I'd want your rabbit to be. As you can see, it's about the size of an adult-sized hand. I want it to be pretty big because we're going to do some stuff with part 2 on this as well with these animals. Now, if you want to go bigger than this, you can cut this out, put it on a brand new piece of paper, and if you want this bigger, here is the shape I need to stick with. Now, let's say I want to make him 1 inch larger all the way around. You simply put your tracer there and just draw around it 1 inch away from everything. And this is a technique that I have used in the past. If you want to take one item and make it a little bit larger, this is the easiest way to go. Now, he looks pretty big, and I can go in here and change what I want in this rabbit's body as much as I want. Now, as you can see in this printout right here, there's some difficult places to cut. And I'm going to show you some of the other printouts just to show you. If you can't cut in here, it's okay to just stop a little early and connect it right there. This is a tough cut, as well as the notches, but the notches are very important to putting everything together. All right? Mine, he actually looks like a pretty fat squirrel. So if I wanted to, I can go in and modify it if I need to. Give him more of the back of his head, and then come around here, there's his back, and there's his tail. And I can modify the face and the jaw, whatever else that I want. But if I wanted to make it bigger, I could just do that. Okay, so that's one technique. And then you can cut this out and use this as a template, then to take it and trace it on your piece of cardboard. If you don't have the print capability, you're just going to have to draw it as best as you can with whatever that you got around, okay? So I'm going to move this off to the side. So after you print it or draw it directly on your cardboard, you're going to get something like this. I took my tracers and simply put them on the piece of cardboard I had, and I got all three to fit on here quite nicely. Very easily done. No problems whatsoever about tracing them. Okay? Now, as you can see, rabbit's body, face, and legs. So let's explore some of the other ones that I've got now that we've already seen that rabbit. One of them is a bear. I worked on the bear, and it was quite challenging. Not the body and legs, but this head or face piece was very difficult to cut out. Please be very careful when you're cutting. This is not an easy project to do. And I do mention in the notes that if you need some adult help with this, it's okay as long as you rely on the adult help only when you need it. Please do not have your parent or guardian do all the work for you. I want you to give this a try as best as you can. This is where I'm going to give tips about how to cut out the cardboard as quickly and as easily as possible without having to rely on somebody else to do it for you. Here's the bear, the notches, here's the legs. They're exactly the same. And there's the notches for the legs, and there's for his face. Another one is a dog. There's a dog. He's kind of looking up. There's his face. There's his tall legs. There you go. Now, if you wanted to, you could take the dog and modify it into another four-legged animal like this, such as a cat. Instead of the tail going up and curling like this, you could have the cat's tail. You could cut this out normal, trace it on the cardboard like normal, but instead of drawing this curly tail, you would just draw this like puffy tail that would be over here. You could also transform the dog into like a lion or a tiger or any other animal that's similar body style right here. You just got to remember, here's the sets of legs, and you could add in like a lion's mane around here and the face. There are plenty of these style of templates actually on Google. Another one that I have is a shark. The shark only has 3 pieces as well. All right, so you cut it out and you trace it on the cardboard and carefully cut out the pieces. The other one I have is a deer or a moose, whichever, I can't remember what it's labeled as. But these antlers are very hard to cut out with cardboard. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you might just want to make 1 and 2. And then maybe even not even get the ears in there, just the face. This would be kind of difficult to do, but if you want to give it a try, you can. But be very careful with the scissors. But that notch would go right there with the deer's head. Those are his legs, so they would be turned and placed in place there. And then the final one I have is actually labeled as a zebra, but you could easily transform this into a horse. You could also actually turn it into a giraffe if you were to trace this and draw a very tall neck as well. But this zebra one is very difficult because that's its eyes. That would involve cutting this hole directly out of there. Don't worry about doing anything like that. So if you did the zebra or horse, you don't even have to worry about the eyes. Unless you absolutely wanted to try it, then you can. There's the body and there's the legs. So if you can't print them out, print them out. If you want to do your own animal, your realistic animal, go ahead. But again, this is the look of the side of its body. Here's its legs. But again, you'd be looking front at the legs like for this rabbit. And in the end, these legs would actually be turned like this and put in this notch like so. And I will show you with mine coming up here. All right. So again, you can choose one of mine. You can create your own. That's fine. You can modify these if you want to, but those are the 6 that I have, including the rabbit. So I'm going to move that one out of the way. All right. So now the cutting. This is where the big challenge comes in. Now, instead of just taking and cutting right from the edge and trying to stay around the cutting area, to make this much easier, instead of having to hold this whole board, would be to what I call bubble cut. Do not cut right on the line. Instead, you'd almost want to cut close, but not right up against it. You would start cutting here, and then just simply cut around this area right there. That way, this own piece will be separate. Then you can go in with the scissors and do really close cuts as well right there. But that's called bubble cutting. So you start out with just this bubble, and then you go in and refine your cuts as best as you can. All right? So you go in and cut, and there is part of the bunny's head. There's the notch. I have that completely cut out around his ears. And again, it's challenging, but stick with it and do your best. And again, ask for any help if you need it. If it's absolutely needed, you can ask for help. So there's the head and ears of the bunny. Then I cut out the body. The body, again, there's the little part of the tail. I didn't even cut it out. I just went right around it because it was very difficult for me. There's the 1 notch right there and a 1 notch right there. I simply just cut in on both sides of the notches, 1 side and 2 side, and then carefully just bent it and tore it right out of there. That's what I did to get those notches on all these parts. And then lastly is you have the legs. There it is. Bubble cut first, and then cut and refine it and get right along the edges. All right, so then I've got my pieces. My rabbit's about the size of my hand, which is good. Now, there's only 3 pieces to put together. So this notch goes in right here. So like a puzzle, you're going to turn this towards you and then slide it, and it should just fit in like your hand in a glove. There we go. Next up is the rabbit's head and ears. That should just slide right in place there. And notice that the notches are only cut halfway down, halfway in, because then when you slide it down over that spot, this part will actually meet its chin. And there is my adorable little rabbit. So his eyes would go there, there's his nose, here's his front legs. Now he doesn't have 2 back legs, but looking sideways, this is okay. So there's my rabbit, and he balances. That's the other main thing. You need to have your animals must balance on their own. Now, if you're having a hard time getting parts to lock together like this, which is one technique, you can tape yours together if you want, or glue it. Whichever way you can to get this to stay assembled, you can. So let's say for the legs, you actually just wanted to cut this right here and have one leg separate, another leg separate. And you wanted to just glue them on. Glue one on here and a one on there, or tape them. Go ahead and do it. Perfectly fine if you want to do that. As long as you are building a 3D item, 3D animal that can balance. And there's my adorable rabbit. This is one animal done. All right? So cutting is actually the biggest challenging part. And you can draw it as many times as you want, and you race until you get the body style the same. Now, I have the bear right here, and this is the tracer parts of it. So then I've got the body. There's the body. And these were not easy to cut, so be patient with it. Get it as close as you can. Don't let the frustration get to you, because it might happen. Just fight through it and ask for help when needed. 1 leg, 2 legs. And then again, the bear's face took me a long time to cut. I had to do many small little cuts around here to get this to even look like that. And I thought it turned out okay. Right? Many small cuts, and it's fine. All right, so then I've got my 2 animals, so I'm going to move the bear out of the way and start assembling it. So 1 notch for 1 leg. So it should just slide right up. And if you put these 2 together like this and it doesn't want to go anymore, just make one of these a little bit, one of those notches a little bit wider. I'll cut out just a little bit more, and it should just slide in place. Now, if you cut them both way too big, and when you slide it, this continues to keep sliding out, put it in place and just put a piece of tape right there or some glue right along the seam, and it should stay. So there's his back legs. Here's his front legs. Let's see. There we go. Fits okay. And then here's his face. So there's the side view of his face, but this is going to give him the front view. And there's my bear. His eyes will go there. There's his nose, his front legs, back legs. He doesn't have a tail, and he balances just fine. Okay? So to review, you can use my templates that are on this document, and you can print them out or keep them up on your computer screen and try to draw them on the cardboard as best as you can. You can also modify these however that you want. There is a shark, but if you wanted to make a different kind of fish, you just change the fins as you're drawing it. Dog, you want to change into a cat, you can do that too. The zebra, you want to change into a giraffe or a horse, go right ahead. Modify it as much as you want. I just pulled these off of Google. I just typed in cardboard animal outlines, and this is what I got. And I found a whole bunch, but some of them are a little challenging, and you want to keep this as easy as you can. My bear is 4 pieces, my rabbit's only 3. Okay? So please be careful when cutting. Please be careful when cutting. Ask for help when you need to. And then after you get your animals, keep them in a nice safe place, because we're going to do some unique designs on the animals, and we're going to follow artists who really had some crazy designs on actual wooden crafted animals, like sculptures. So that's what we're going to do for part 2. But don't jump ahead. Don't color these. Just make them. You need 2 animals, and if you would like to do more, you can do more. I'm okay with it. But I would like 2 different animals, if possible, a bear and a bunny, or a dog and the shark, whatever that you want to do, but make 2 different animals. I want you to try it. And if you have other techniques about how to assemble these together instead of the notches like I have, go ahead and do it. Give it a try. As long as your animals balance and stay up on their own, you've done a great job. Again, my animals are about as big as an adult's hand. That's all that we're going to need. All right? So that's our goal for this week. Please be careful when using the scissors and cutting out the cardboard. Do it as best as you possibly can. Do a great job. Be patient with it. And I know that you guys can handle this one. So good luck. Be safe. And I can't wait to see what you guys build.